What is up, guys? It is the Bluebloods here, back with another week 2 preview, man. This will be, I believe, our fifth one. So, man, make sure to check out all our other week 2 previews, and we got more coming tomorrow as well. We're dropping a bunch tomorrow, so just make sure to tune into those. And if you're new, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Why not, man? We got the best, the highest quality, and the most college football content any other channel on YouTube, man. So hit subscribe, like the video now, and let's get right into it, man. We have a very, very interesting non-conference matchup this weekend down in Miami. And for me, it's the Miami Hurricanes looking to rebound, avoid an 0-2 start to kick off their 2021 season. And then we got the upset-minded, upset-proven Appalachian State Mountaineers, man. And I don't think these teams right this second could be any further apart in terms of where their programs are sitting in the 2021 season, along with the surrounding question marks about these programs. So for Miami, they got I guess, the unlucky fortune or the misfortune of facing a reloaded Alabama team that was motivated to prove that they're gonna reclaim their title this year. They got blown out, man. Miami looked outclassed in every phase of the game, 44-13 domination for the Crimson Tide. But the Canes last year were very good and almost better than anyone else against non top 10 teams. I mean, UNC and Clemson were really the two teams that really took them out of the running last year. So for me, this is a chance to prove where they are. This is a chance to answer a lot of those questions, and for them to say, listen, it was just Bama. This is really the team that we are going into this year. Now, the one question I do have, and it's a big storyline, is what is the motivation level like inside the program, and where's the mindset? Are they still motivated? Are they still focused? And what's kind of the temperature around that program on the inside? Those are all questions we're going to get answered this weekend as we get into this game. Now, for Appalachian State, they're coming in after a pretty big win over East Carolina, one of the middle of the pack AAC teams, but it's a big I guess neutral site win. It's a great opening win. It's like, okay, we got our non-conference out the way. Now we get a chance to go upset another ACC team. As you remember, the last time they got a shot, they knocked off Sam Howell and the North Carolina Tar Heels in a pretty dominating fashion. And so they're looking to follow that up with a win down in Hard Rock Stadium against Miami. And so when you look at them, I mean, I'm going to call them the group of five assassins, because every time you schedule Appalachian State, it's either an extremely close game where the Power 5 team squeaks out or they pull the upset. So I'm excited to kind of see where this team falls in this weekend. Now, for the keys for the Hurricanes, I mean, the easy thing to say is just don't do anything you did last week. Throw away the game plan, the execution, the film, the practice schedule, the uniforms, the pregame routine. You just gotta like hard reset this entire program, because last week was atrocious. But the real key is to protect De'Aaron King, allow him time to make plays, keep him comfortable in the pocket, and allow him to distribute the ball to his playmakers on the outside. That's it. That's the key to success for a Rhett Lashley offense with a quarterback like De'Aaron King. He's always struggled against elite defenses. I get that. But he needs to bring his best this weekend, or the Hurricanes can absolutely be in major trouble, because this team goes as King goes week in and week out. Now, looking at last season in the NC State game, that's probably the best display of what De'Aaron King can do if everything's clicking. 75% completion percentage, 5 touchdowns, over 400 yards through the air. That's what he can do when given the chance. And also, he had 100 yards rushing. So, another part of this key is King has to be dynamic with his legs, because this O-line isn't going to be perfect. This Appalachian State D-line is legit. So when things break down, he needs to go keep this offense afloat, make plays, allow this offense to stay in rhythm, and just get a few first downs. That's the key. I watched Rhett Lashley at Auburn, because he was the offensive coordinator when I was actually going to school there. The offense is at its best when it's in a rhythm, and Rhett Lashley can kind of open up the playbook and be creative with his calls. If your quick 3-and-outs are the biggest drive killers for Rhett Lashley, and also being in third and manageable is so important. So not taking sacks, being able to establish the run, all these things are keys for Miami. It's basic football stuff, but this is stuff they didn't do last week, and they don't do against elite competition over the past 2 seasons. And when you get in those third and longs as well, it puts this offensive line, which is a huge concern for me, in very bad situations because Appalachian State can come after King with all their force, and that is a recipe for disaster for Miami. The offensive line underperformed last week, and for me, that was the main reason the Hurricanes really weren't even competitive because, one, it didn't allow King any time or any chance to do what he does best. It made Cameron Harris almost useless at that point, and they were out there really, putting King in this offense in a very uncomfortable spot. They didn't have any third and manageables. They didn't have any momentum, any rhythm, and it really affected how the Hurricanes played on the field last week. And so, for me, the offensive line has to do better. I mentioned on our last preview, 51 sacks allowed in 2019 and 26 sacks allowed in only 11 games last season. So you got to keep seeing that improvement. They gave up a lot of sacks last week against Alabama, a lot of pressures. They have to be better. Now, for Appalachian State, it's such an easy key because if you watched their game last weekend and you watched, the past few games of last season, it's established the running game. It's by far the strongest facet of this offense. And I know that some Appalachian State fans aren't going to like this. I'm still kind of skeptical of Chase Bryce's ceiling, even after just one game. And Cameron Peoples and Nate Noel were a problem at running back for East Carolina. They had no answer for either of these guys. And the last 2 times we've seen Peoples out there, 0 answers for him, and he came off a record-setting bowl performance in 2019 as well. So for me, they started their 2021 seasons with an absolute bang, and this is going to be the face of this offense. You look at Peoples, 100 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, over 7 yards to carry last week. Noel, 126 and averaging over 8 yards a carry last week going to the game. Both of these guys can be lightning in a bottle, and I think if they both can get hot and both establish their games this weekend, Miami could be in some serious trouble, and Appalachian State could put the Hurricanes on upset alert. Now, it starts with the offensive line, though. They looked like the real deal last weekend, but this will be their biggest test by far. East Carolina did not bring the type of athletes and just pass rushers and run stoppers that the Hurricanes are going to bring onto the field this week. They have to protect Bryce for one, and they have to win the battle at the line of scrimmage. When you look at Anderson Hardy, Damian Daly, Bear Hunter, Cooper Hodges, all these guys are upperclassmen with a wealth of experience. The moment's not going to be too big. They've all been a part of upsets. They know what They know what it takes, and they've just seemed to adopt that. We're going to win this matchup. We're going to win our one-on-ones. We're going to execute efficiently. That whole mentality of this offensive line, I'm absolutely in love with. Now, Chase Bryce, he played well last week. I understand. But the key for him, for me, the big worry is, can he avoid the turnovers? That's been his biggest question. Listen, no one's ever questioned his arm talent, arm strength, his focus and his football IQ and everything like that. It's just, can he avoid the turnovers? And that's the one thing. If he turns the ball over, Miami's winning this game. If he can protect the ball, the run game starts going, the defense plays as well as I think they can, Appalachian State could absolutely pull the big upset, but it all depends on Chase Bryce not turning the ball over. The rushing attack, as we saw last week, allows Bryce to play within the offense, establish an early rhythm. It keeps the pressure on him and off of him. And that's the real key, especially as we get into a hostile environment against a very talented defense. Now, we did see how Bryce played against this Hurricanes defense last year. He did complete 80% of his passes, but he did not have a pass over 12 yards, only 94 yards on 25 attempts, and he was sacked 4 times, and he had an 18 QBR. He's got to be better. Listen, the key for Chase Bryce is he's going to have to be confident, efficient, and there's going to be somewhere in this game, guys, there's going to be at some point, there's going to be 1, 2, maybe 3 if it's a super close game throws that he has to make. If he doesn't make those throws, Appalachian State's losing. Cameron Peoples, this defense can only carry you so far. Chase Bryce is going to have to go make a play eventually. Can he do it? Last week he did, but this is a new week, a better defense, a hostile environment. Can he make the throw? He couldn't at Duke, but we saw him do it at Clemson the 1 week he stepped in for Trevor Lawrence. But can he do it here at Appalachian State this weekend? Now, for my matchup to watch, it's easy for me because it's either strength versus strength for me or strength versus obvious weakness. It's the second one this week. Miami's O-line against this dangerous Appalachian State D-line is a huge matchup because Miami has to keep this at least an even, or they have to find a way to win this matchup. Because if you let Appalachian State's D-line dominate you, you're losing this game and you're putting De'Aaron King in serious trouble. And there's already reports from some people who think he could be nursing an injury from last week after a few of the big hits he took. I can't confirm that, and I'm just going to assume he's 100% until told otherwise. But for me, you look at this App State D-line, it starts with Demetrius Taylor. That dude is built different. We had him on the show for an interview. Shout out to him. Top 5 in the FBS active sack leaders right now, playing right now. One of only 3 defensive linemen on the Walter Camp Player of the Year watch list. He can wreak havoc if these offensive tackles don't show up. Ask Sam Howell what happened when he, got a touchdown, got multiple sacks. He dominated that game. It was the key for them to upset North Carolina. Now, when you look at the other D linemen and edge rushers they have, there's got 5, 6 off, edge rushers and D linemen that are upperclassmen with a lot of experience. If you're looking for an X factor, I think it could be outside linebacker, edge type guy in Nick Hampton. He wreaked havoc last week, got a big sack, and was in the backfield consistently and often against East Carolina. If he can combine with Demetrius Taylor and be forces off the edge, Miami's going to be in for a long day. Also, Caleb Sperlin and DeAndre Prince Dingle are going to be in the other guys to kind of watch on this D line. Miami's just got to play better. I mean, I've already talked about all their struggles. Appalachian State's not Alabama, but when you ask UNC what happens when you don't block App State's offensive line. Last week, I highlighted on our recap these were the blocking grades for Miami's O-line across the O-line: 53.9, 55.4, 47.5, 56.1, and 55.4. You have to be better than that. If this Miami O-line has those same struggles this week, I don't see a way they can even win this game that you're supposed to. 23 pressures and hurries last week along with 4 sacks. That cannot happen this week. De'Aaron King was running for his life, and this offense never got on track, never stayed in front of the chains, never stayed on pace, anything like that. They never found their rhythm, and it caused a very, very long day for the Hurricanes. They have to control the line of scrimmage. They have to get Cameron Harris involved in this game plan. If Miami loses the line of scrimmage battle with their O-line, this game is going to be a rough one this Saturday. Now, a lot of people have been picking this upset. A lot of people have been saying that Chase Bryce is going to cost, App State the game. So I've seen about 50-50 in terms of picks on this game. Right now, the spread is 9 points for Miami. They're a 9-point favorite over Appalachian State down at, Hard Rock Stadium in South Beach. For me, I've been pretty conservative on my picks this year. Haven't picked too many upsets. I just think the run game for Appalachian State is too strong. And for me, I just don't trust this Miami offensive line. We've been doing this podcast for like 3 seasons now. I have not seen this offensive line live up to the hype against talented D-lines. Even Pitt gave them problems last year. Virginia gave them problems. You cannot have that. So for me, I'm going with Appalachian State pulling the upset off down in Hard Rock Stadium in South Beach. I do have it a close game, though. Don't think it's going to be a blowout either way. I just think Right now, Appalachian State's more complete. I'm worried about De'Aaron King. I'm worried about the whole mindset of this Miami team. And, every team that gets whooped by Bama week 1 always kind of suffers a hangover. I think App State's too good for that. So I have Appalachian State 27, Miami 23 down in Hard Rock this weekend. So guys, subscribe now. Comment below your score predictions. Listen, if you're a Miami fan, tell me I'm wrong. Comment below, but still like the video and subscribe. And then, hey, if y'all win this Saturday, come back to the video, comment, and tell me why I was wrong. And I always love it. I always love any interaction. So subscribe now, like the video, guys. Join the Blue Bloods. I told y'all we got the best content on YouTube right now, especially in the college football world. But guys, we got way more previews coming tomorrow, and we got a lot of recaps coming Saturday and Sunday. We got 7 days a week here, guys. Multiple episodes a day. Ain't no one doing it like we are right here on the Blue Bloods. But for right now, we are out.